For the record, I just want everyone to know that I haven't thought of a catchy intro phrase yet. Don't get me wrong, I racked my brain, but I just couldn't come up with anything, so hello. And welcome to the very first review of the channel, Total War Warhammer 3. Before we get started, I just want to clarify that even though I've done this for 6 years on the Angry Joe Show, I'm still working out the format for reviews on this channel. As a work in progress, I would love to have feedback and criticism on what I could do to improve, because, you know, I still have to find my flow. You should also know that my awesome editor, Josh, is going to be figuring out his own style, so things will change regardless over the next few videos while he works that out. Anyway, yeah, Total War Warhammer 3. Oh man, when I was given the opportunity to review this early as the channel launch review, you bet your ass I jumped on it without hesitation, having been a long-time Warhammer and Total War fan. And, full disclosure, I loved the second game so much that I have over 1,500 hours in it, so expectations were incredibly high for me when I started the third. I expected more of the same, but in a bigger and grander scale, with everything being improved and more empires and having, you know, more unique campaigns and more mechanics being added. So did they succeed? First things first, this game's story takes part in the same sort of timeline as the previous game, although this time with a huge emphasis on chaos, pretty much rampaging around everywhere and murder blasting all the living things. It primarily deals with the bear god Urson being trapped inside the warp and getting mega tortured, which is really not doing great things for the fabric of reality. If you play as any of the Chaos Gods, you'll be running around pillaging, capturing territory, and completing specific objectives, all geared towards getting access to the bear and gaining its power for yourself and your respective god. If you play as anyone that isn't Chaos, you still want the bear's power, but for less evil ways. There's a few other specific special campaigns that are kind of in the middle, but primarily it's good versus evil and Chaos trying to destroy the world as per usual. The new factions added to the game so far are Cathay, Kislev, the Daemon Prince, Khorne, Nurgle, Tzeentch, Slaanesh, and the Ogre Kingdoms, which are DLC. Cathay's your Warhammer version of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms with yin and yang mechanics, which are really cool synergy bonuses between units and overall for their kingdoms. They also arguably have some of the coolest abilities in the game for heroes, like turning into a huge freaking dragon. Kislev is pretty much the Warhammer equivalent of Ice Russians, with things like Great Axe muskets and such, with all their politics and whatnot being based around gaining supporters through invoking Motherland buffs. The Daemon Prince is a fully customizable version of a Chaos Undivided with custom body parts and neato things like that you can also name after yourself. You get to swap these parts around and make your main character look completely different with various donations from the Chaos Gods like arms and legs and horns and tails and such. They all change your stats and that's pretty sweet. The 4 Chaos factions obviously represent each Chaos God with their own unique playstyles and mechanics to suit each god's lore and tabletop unit composition. And finally, the Ogre Kingdoms are just a bunch of club-wielding fat people, sorry, we could say that, because that's true, that just want to eat everyone they meet and honestly just want to eat the bear. You could basically just consider them orcs with, you know, thicker bodies and a different skin tone. I personally enjoyed Kislev the most. Their playstyle, with their orthodoxy and their religion politics, was interesting, and their units are bar none the coolest to me. Sure, you have Scarbrand for Chaos and Khorne, but Kislev has freaking Great Axe muskets. They're muskets that are Great Axes, but Great Axes that are muskets. As far as the map goes, it's a massively expanded version of the North and the Mortal Empires map from the second game, you know, the Empire area, including the Cathay areas, which are new, and the new area of the Chaos Warp itself. There's a few of the previous empires tossed around to fill in the gaps like Norska, the Empire, Skaven, etc., but it really does tend to focus on the new factions in the game. You'll find yourself fighting over a lot of new and unique important areas in that region, including the realms of the Chaos Gods themselves, which is freaking awesome, and traveling to places that weren't even possible in your mind in the second game's iteration. Personally, I'm very happy with the less is more style they've gone for in 3. It really makes every single area feel more grand and more unique, with less of a copy paste and conquer mentality. I bet you're wondering about whether or not the battlefield maps themselves have changed drastically like the map has in 3, and the answer quite simply is yes. Fortresses and citadels are exactly that now, with defenders getting construction resources to customize pathways and build towers, along with other various defenses to help hold the line. Many of the special cities in the game have their own unique layouts and maps. I think I lost track at about 20 of them, and I can genuinely say that the sieges are far more enjoyable than they were in the previous title. They really nailed that grand battle feeling, almost like a Helm's Deep sort of situation, with talented defenders being able to hold the tide against far superior forces if they know what they're doing. There were also changes to the reinforcement system in the game, letting you guesstimate and know, I guess, when enemy and friendly reinforcements are due to arrive, allowing you to set up ambushes or even kill the main enemy army before they're capable of intervening. This is so sick! This is actually sick as hell! A little bit overpowered, but you know, still sick. It's all just fine-tuning of already great systems, and I'm completely down with it. This stuff like this has caused me to already sink 100 hours into this game for review. And that was as of like a couple days before the review launched. Now let's talk about the graphics. This game looks incredible on Ultra. It looks absolutely insane on the highest settings, and honestly, even my 3090 struggled to handle some of the maximum unit size and unit capped battles when everything was set to Ultra. On standard settings, the performance is solid. I tested it on a computer with a 2080 and it was still able to run on high just perfectly fine with maximum unit size. I'm not sure about low-end PCs, but it does seem more optimized than the previous title. It's pretty much the exact same style and look as the second game, but even better with the world map, battle maps, units, and effects all being cranked up to an 11 compared to the previous title. Couple that with the incredible new spell effects, added gore, body parts flying around everywhere, tons of new combat animations for each individual soldier fighting one another, and you've got a better looking combat flow compared to the last game in every single way. I really can't put into words how sick this title looks when things line up perfectly in camera. There's really just something special about seeing hundreds and hundreds of muskets pouring fire on enemy ranks that just tickles me in the best of ways.
Born into power!
Ah, shit, I almost forgot one of the best things. There are so many cinematics. They're great, too. It felt like every other major battle or event was dropping one on me, and they really helped set the mood for what was going on. I found myself watching through them each and every time. Even if I had already seen some of them on my previous playthroughs, I didn't care. They were just that good.
Only a fool would challenge Be'lakor. And yet, the power of a dying god, there is no greater prize. A mere drop of Ursun's blood would break my curse, ending my servitude to this accursed book. Free to profit from its secrets.
I do want to take a moment to talk about the best thing for me personally that they've changed in this game, and that is the co-op multiplayer. I know a lot of people didn't bother with it in the second game, but I absolutely have to encourage it for this one. Not only are turns simultaneous now, so you can coordinate salts, etc., but it supports up to 8 players. That's right, 8 players playing either together or against each other in the major campaigns just at start. I've dragged a bunch of people in and out of multiplayer games and encountered no issues, crashes, bugs, or desyncs, far better than the previous title was at launch. Most of my footage for this review was captured in co-op, as the campaigns still function widely the same, and it just allowed me to see multiple Lord playstyles all at once. If you do get the game, I have to 100% suggest that you try playing it with friends. I can't even begin to imagine how crazy it's going to be if or when Mortal Empires comes out for Total War Warhammer 3. On the full technical side of things, I want to mention that in about the 100 hours of playtime I've not encountered any major or real bugs, crashes, glitches, or issues of any sort that weren't caused by my own personal stupidity. The game worked and did everything it was supposed to do without fail, and compared to the launch of the previous title and the title before that, that's night and day. Great job on Creative Assembly's bug testing team for that. All in all, Total War Warhammer 3 can be summarized as more of the same carnage, mayhem, violence, and bloodshed on a generally better and grander scale. Everything's simply been taken up a notch, be it story, graphics, playing mechanics, whatever. It's all an improvement on the last, and I majorly enjoyed and will continue to enjoy my time with this title. Now, as far as final scores go, I think I've decided with my reviews that I want to use a 1 to 10 system, with 5 being average, because you can't fix what ain't broken, right? And with that in mind, I'm going to be giving Total War Warhammer 3 a solid 9 out of 10, with a 10 being entirely possible with future support of the game and an addition of a Mortal Empires all-faction sort of mode. For people who are fans of the previous installment, you'll love it, and I encourage anyone who hasn't played the previous games and wants to start with one to start with this one. It's extremely solid as a standalone by itself. It's definitely worth picking up, definitely worth playing with friends, and definitely worth your time and money. And now I want to take a moment to thank everyone that's come to support the channel and say that both Godfoot and I appreciate it immensely. It's been a long 1.5 to 2 years getting ready to do this, building the set, getting the graphics done, and figuring out how I want it to flow. Understandably, it's probably going to take a few months for us to find our perfect rhythm, and we ask for your patience. We really want to deliver to you the best content possible, but it will be a work in progress. Please, again, give any suggestions for things for me to review and help spread the word by sharing this video, interacting in the comments, spamming the like button. I guess that's a thing on YouTube still. Every bit helps, especially with the launch of the channel. And I appreciate you all, and I guess the only thing to say now is that I'll be seeing you in the next video. Bye!